All right, welcome to a special edition on my block. We're going to break down some Packers-Bills game here. I'm your host, Mike Wahle. Listen, for people who are asking out there, if you like the channel and you want to learn more, man, just hit subscribe on the YouTube button. Hit subscribe on our feeds, on our podcast feeds, anywhere on my block, anywhere you can get your podcast is where it's at. YouTube Process to Perform. Check out the channel. Let's get right into this, man, because I got some defensive clips, I got some offensive clips, and just want to talk a little about what happens. So what I did for our Packers defense is I just went through every first down that wasn't in the red zone for the Buffalo Bills over the first 3 quarters of the game, just kind of demonstrate like what the problems are. And as you kind of look at this, you break it out. Let's watch the play from full screen here. So you got a 2-by-2 back in the backfield. Packers got 2 deep, right? And let's start off by this. They have talent at the wide receiver position. We have talent at the defensive back position. There are 3 first rounders, or I can't remember. I think Alexander's not only a first rounder, but he was the highest paid cornerback in the league. And then we have obviously Stokes. We have our Darnell Savage, and Adrian Amos is a great player as well. So we have guys that we think they can match up and do well. Rasul Douglas came out of nowhere last year, but has played at an extremely high level, very, very physical corner. They're playing him nickel right now. Maybe he's better outside, but the bottom line is he's a guy that can make tackles, something that is lacking in many areas of this defense. So as we go 2-by-2, easy handoff. Okay, this is a 6-yard game to start. And I kind of wanted to go through this because the Bills are running on a 5-man box that's widened out. Now, there's 2 ways that are widened out. One, our defensive ends are in man and then a man and a half away from the tackles. 2, the Bills have great splits. Okay, the Bills have great splits, and we've walked out Devondre Campbell onto the motion slot receiver because we don't want to give him completely free access to the safety. The safety's the next man up, and he's 12, 15 yards deep. So this creates a 5-on-5 situation. Really, you don't have to block the backside guys. So really a 4-on-5 situation because you have to hold him with Josh Allen. You have to respect the backside defensive end. You have to respect the fact that he might run the ball. So if you can't get 5 yards in this scenario, and this is maybe what the Packers want, this is what a lot of teams do, is you just let them run down the field and hope that they make a mistake, they get a holding call, they have a false start, somebody misses a block, and you end up in a 2nd and long, 3rd and long. But in these plays, and look just you don't see this often happen to Kenny Clark, but this is the kind of game it was. Mitch Morse just puts him right on his backside, and they get a 6-yard game. So now we'll skip forward to the next first down. You got a missed tackle, something that's been plaguing us. And now you're looking at, you've got 12 personnel in the game. So you have 2 tight ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got a 7 out here. So you're blocking 7-on-7 in the box. This is, and again, the 8th man being the running back. And then you could call Josh Allen because he's a running threat, even though he's under center right now. It's really a 9-on-7 again. So this is the most ideal scenario that you can have as an offense, aside from them, the defense just going to the sideline and having Gatorade. And they're successful because they're winning the double team. So watch this tight end. This is called a trade block. They're just going to trade block up to Quay Walker here on Dean Lowry. Tight end comes down, has a great block, puts Lowry down on the ground, and engages Quay Walker. Now, most tight ends, you don't think, like, if your tight end has to block our linebacker, you think our linebacker is going to win that, 100 or 100 times. And he gets off late. But again, he's a great athlete. He does a great job. But we're making a lot of tackles 8-9 yards down the field. So we're just in 11 personnel on offense here. Tight end left. So you have trips left with an attached tight end. Do they rotate here? They're playing man. Okay, so again, huge play. I didn't see Preston Smith. So this is a 6-man box against 6 blockers. They play that box technique that we talked about last game. So Rashawn Gary is going to play box technique here on the pulling guard. And what happens when you play box technique is, honestly, you're just not as strong. So if he was shoulder pads perpendicular or parallel with the yard markers and perpendicular to the end zone, so he's facing downhill, he can go same foot, same shoulder, and really put his foot in the ground and strike here. when you are taking a guy on chest to chest, whoever's running faster at that moment, plus the guard's 330 pounds, well, he's going to have the leverage game. And if Josh Allen held this ball and decided to run, it's too hard for Rashawn Gary to turn his body all the way around and chase him. So, I know, to me personally, there's no good thing that comes out of this. From a mechanical standpoint, this makes absolutely no sense. They've been doing it for the last couple of weeks. And you just have a huge hole here. 2 opportunities to make tackles, but we've overrun the play. And this has just kind of been the story, right? But again, from a number standpoint, that is so easy. I can't stress how easy it is to run against. Packers are in 2 high right here. So they're playing 2-man. So 2 safeties and man coverage. And the problem is, what happens, what's one of the reasons that Coach LaFleur, I'm sure, says, why don't we go man coverage all night? Well, because Josh Allen can run, and they don't have a spy here. And so the minute that Preston Smith gets a little bit sucked inside, Josh Allen runs, and there's just nobody. A lot of people thought that Quay Walker would be spying him all night. Well, it's just unrealistic. The Bills have a good offensive coordinator as well, right? So they're going to spread people out and force the situation. So I think it was down to the 1-yard line. They end up scoring. We just have 2-by-2 personnel here, tight end attached. Again, playing off everywhere. And this is, I think, what a lot of people are asking. Well, why don't we play these guys a little bit tighter? Well, first of all, these are really good athletes. Gabe Davis and Diggs are incredibly gifted tight ends, wide receivers. They're their 5th round pick from this year, number 10. He's a good player as well. He's been making plays both in the special teams and in the passing game. If I said to Amon, you get to run a 6-man box all day, Amon he probably would have never come out of the game because it's just free eating. So they bring the slot here. What does that mean? That means everybody has to play off, because now the situation changes. They get free access to the safety here, so they're probably playing quarters up top. They grab it. Again, he's out the back door. Rasul Douglas does a great job of chasing him down. So again, as we look at this, inside move, Rasul comes. Initially gets beat from a leverage standpoint, but chases Josh Allen down. Great play. 2-by-2. We got a safety almost off the screen here. The safety is on the 15-yard line. That's deep. I mean, you're on the 35-yard line going in. Go back to a 2-by-2. They motion out. Play action. Under center play action. They motion out. They're showing man. They bring down the safety over the tight end. So they're showing man coverage here, single safety high. Show it. Do a great job with the play action of sucking in the linebackers. We'll see it here. Watch Walker. This is not his fault. This is what you do when you see the ball being, see a good running team and the ball being given. You get sucked in. This space is where Knox beats us across for another first down. You got tight end attached across, and you're running against a 6-man box. You have numbers here. And basically, if you're an offensive line, you kind of look at this like, I have 1, 2, 3, and I only have 2 guys outside them. Like, I'm counting this as he's inside me if I want to run to the left. So I have leverage on this side. This is an advantageous position for me to be in, as opposed to I got 4-on-4 and they have leverage on this. They have leverage outside the center. Preston Smith played great all day. Otherwise, there would have been a lot more bigger plays in the run game in particular. One more time, maybe a trips look here. And we're so far off, and this is very easy. Unless he beelines for Diggs, him being Devondre Campbell, like, we'll just throw this now. Because they're just saying you have a wide receiver out leveraged on a linebacker. Easy play. All right, so we go Packers. We start off in a bunch look. We go motion across, Packers offense. So we end up in a 2-by-2. Tunyon's running like what we call a short 7 or a sail route into cover 2. And so with cover 2, we really are reading this defensive back. So we ran 11 out in the flat. If he sticks here, then we can throw this route. Tonyan's not going to be able to challenge the leverage from a speed standpoint of the safety, so we're going to have to find this open pocket of space. The pocket isn't open. Rodgers just delivers Watkins the ball for the first down. But we go 2 by 2. And what I love about this play is, and I'm trying to demonstrate it here, is essentially this is a running play, and for the Green Bay Packers. And, you know, we like running downhill and using the offensive line, but what you're using is your best player against Tremaine Edwards, who's a fantastic athlete, but he's 252 pounds, trying to run against Aaron Jones, who weighs, you know, around 200. So we have the speed standpoint here. So basically, if we have leverage on this player from the jump, just feed him the ball right now. Don't worry about everybody else. Let's just go. We have 1, 2 blockers up top, and Tremaine Edwards has to go make the tackle on Aaron Jones. And this isn't a touchdown play. This is, hey, I bet you we can get 4 or 5 yards on this play every single time, have the safety come down and help out on the tackle. Now, this is the first 4th down play. And you're going to see DeGuara run off. You're going to see Dobbs down here on the very bottom hit a 5-yard stick. And it just doesn't look good down there. Rodgers looks up top here first. And we're getting jammed on our slant. They're going to try to fake rub and go. It's just not out, and there's nothing there. And he's got to throw the ball away. He's got to get rid of the ball. And really, it's just because Zach Tom and Ed Oliver wins this matchup. You know, why does he win? You know, one thing we like about our offensive line in general is they have great body position, right? You see Bakhtiari. Everyone's got a hip hinge position, right? Maybe John Running's up the highest, but Zach Tom plays with good bend and good body position. He doesn't have his feet in the ground. He's always up on his toes, and that's something that he's got to work on. And he doesn't punch with his hips. I always talk about punching hips to hands. You want to, you know, all the power that you can impose on somebody else comes through the ground, through your contact with the ground, through your body, through your core, and then accentuated in your hands in this instance. If you don't punch hip to hands, then you don't really get to extend and use that athleticism, and you take this bull on. So when Aaron turns around, he's already getting hit. He's got to get rid of the ball. DeGuara is actually open. He did a good job of finding him some space there, but not enough time to make the play. And now we get into some of this run game stuff, and you just love that we're attacking the smaller edges. We've brought in so we're running 12 personnel, so we have 2 tight ends in. Now, they match nickel. So 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, you usually think they're going to bring 3 linebackers in. They just play 7 down in the box all the time. This is the way they play. This is their best base defense. So they try not to go to a traditional base of 4-3 look. They try to stay nickel as often as possible and just use 7. I think that's Johnson in this extra backer position. They've done a great job. They average 3.5 yards a carry on defense coming into this game. But this is just math. You know, 250 pounds versus 210 pounds. We should win that every time. Mercedes does a great job of taking the edge off of 55 and rising to the linebacker, Tremaine Edwards here. And all we're ever trying to do is get Aaron Jones one-on-one with a cornerback. And so if you're able to do that consistently, you're going to find a lot of success. I love this play, and I want to just back this up. I love this play because look where DeGuara starts. He starts from way out here, and he's going to get a full head of steam and just run and cut the legs out of this linebacker. So think about from a linebacker's perspective, it's not like he's coming across from just behind the center here where he's got to kind of measure him out. He's running across. We take Aaron Jones and bubble him out, so Poyer has to go with him. And not only do we have an advantageous box now, but we got this guy coming with a 20-yard head start trying to take out the backside defensive end. And this is what you do if you don't have a quarterback who's going to hold the ball. Great run. I love the way that we're falling forward from A.J. Dillon. Fantastic, fantastic job. Let's watch the double team here between JRJ and Myers first. Blunts him. Myers does a great job of striking second step and rising up, blunting him, turning that body, lifting him in the air. So now what is that defensive tackle going to do? He's going to fight like everything to get back across his face. And when he does, AJ makes a great cut off of him. Picks up positive yardage on first down. I believe this is the 3rd down play. Yeah, this is the 3rd and 1. Wanted to show you Zach Tom here. And one of the reasons that people get excited about Zach Tom is because the kid's got incredible hip hop. Now, we just showed how that if you don't use hips to hands You don't, and pass pro, it's a lot more difficult if you don't have a great relationship with the floor because you can't drive as much power as you want. Ed Oliver is 6'1", 297 pounds. He is an absolute nightmare to try to run block. I want to show you Zach Tom, rookie left guard, first game at left guard. And that's a good job. And it's a good job. And it's hard for everybody to see it, maybe like I see it, but he pops his hip. That right there, he's popping and lifting those hips and trying to get those hips through and get that movement and that off balance. And he is able to maintain balance enough to keep Ed Oliver out of that play. He's got the tough block. There's a double team on the other side. He's at the point of attack, and he makes that play. That's a big deal. That's something you can grow on. You take a lot of losses from this and blah, blah, blah. There's stuff in here that's a good work from the offensive line. Got motion across. The motion across draws out Milano and brings Poyer in. So now we've got two tight ends, running back, and we're running against 6 in the box. If we want to say that he's coming down, fine. So we're running against 7 in the box with two safeties in the box. Okay? You think that we feel good about that on 3rd down, 3rd and 1. Ed Oliver, honestly, for a lot of this game until the 4th quarter, he didn't play very much. I don't know if he got injured or not, but he played like a damn all-pro in this game, you know? I mean, this is John Runyon Jr. Now, what's the first thing you want to, from a layman's standpoint, if your arms are out here, Myers, Yash, the only kid that's got it right is Zach Tom. And then we always look over here at Bakhtiari, and you just kind of say with a guy like Bakhtiari, because he's so good, he's got a very unique stance, set, everything. You go, hey, man, you do you. I'm not going to coach you. If I'm the coach, I'm saying I'm probably not going to coach this guy unless he's asking for something specific because, well, however he's figured out how to do what he does it better than everybody else. But with these guys who are young, get your hands up. I don't want, if I'm an offensive lineman, you don't want to be able to see the 7 and the 6 because if I'm a defensive lineman, where am I going to put my hands? Right? He doesn't look like he's in great balance right now. He doesn't look like he's ready for contact. He looks like he's ready for contact. And that's kind of the difference in what happens here. We get beat, then we get beat backside again. I want to go back and just show Tom again because the power accentuation, he's not a finished product yet. But watch how he can pop there. See how he rolls his hip and pops back up? He's able to stop momentum. I love the idea of using a fullback. You know, we go to 12 personnel. We call DeGuara our fullback. You can call it 21 if you want, right? We're really in 21, old school 21 personnel. Let's just pretend this is Will Henderson and Amon Green right here. Okay, so we got old, you know, Bubba Franks 2.0 here with Mercedes Lewis, and we're just running a good old fashioned stutter play. Okay, or a gap play to the open end. And why does this work? You got 7. You got 7 blockers plus a guy, right? So it's 8 on 7. We have numbers. Even though we're down and all of this, it's like, why run the ball? Well, because they're giving us numbers. And you're picking up this many yards of carry. That's why you run the ball. So a lot of people talk about the shotgun play action is that, you know, it's just kind of a give me look. And I think what you have to understand is watch the get off. Watch the get off from the defensive line here and see if you think they're buying that this is play action pass or that this is an actual run. There's no run cell here. So this is just a free for all. Now, if you go back, why do these happen? Why do these things happen? You know, there's people who look at different players and different scenarios, but you know, you watch Josh Myers here on this play upcoming, you know, when you back block here, you can't back block and miss 92. Right? It's that simple. You back block, miss a guy, everybody cuts underneath. You have to maintain your position. Even if you have to go out a man and a half, you have to wait for the right guard to come down and come take that guy off your hands. Incredible cut by A.J. Dillon. Now, we talked about this yesterday on the show. Second half, you're down a ton of points, and You have, again, a very advantageous box to run the ball in. Packers have great splits. They create width in the box with their splits. We have DeGuara again in the backfield leading through. And this is just such a great cut. And why does this happen? Why is this allowed to happen? So they're bringing a safety off the edge. And so what happens is the defensive end has to get to the B gap. Every defender has a gap. You know, you got your C, your B, your A. Okay. When we bring somebody off the edge here, we got to get across Bakhtiari's face. So you can see they try to win across here. Myers is taking a step that way, so they're in good shape. Bakhtiari gets the cutoff here. Even though 3's coming down for his C gap, he doesn't get to the B gap. What does that mean? With a good running back, he makes that great jump cut. Josh didn't have a great block here, but Bakhtiari makes this thing go. That's why he puts his arm up, because he knows what a big deal it is. Offensive line, if you make that play, I mean, he's excited right here. He's fist pumping himself because that is a big deal. He read it. He made it happen. You cut that play off. It's a huge play. It's a huge play for an offense. If he doesn't cut that play off, if he just puts his head down and drive, 4-yard gain. Just a great job. I just want to show, what kind of player Aaron Jones is. They run a TE game here. So they run defensive tackle in, and they bring, I think it's Rousseau coming over the top here. Okay. And we do not do a good job of picking this up. Comes free. He's right here in the hole. Aaron Jones ain't having it today. Just a great job. And give credit where credit's due. Tunyon, Mercedes Lewis backside. Look at Tunyon getting inside leverage position, rolling his hips, trying to extend his hands. This is what, AG and I have got on this guy a lot. This is what you expect. This is a great job. This creates opportunities for other players. That's fantastic. We talk about Zach Tom again. I'm being deferential, I'm sure, because I played left guard, but I love this from him. Watch the patience. So they're running stunts here. He's just patient. This guy's not engaging. Ears go up, right? They're running slide over here, so it doesn't really matter what happens over here as far as they got 3-on-2. They should be able to win. But Bakhtiari does a good job of riding this guy down. Doesn't really crush him or anything, but Zach Tom, look at that bend. Everything's set. He's aware, and they pass this off, and then he accelerates his feet again. It's a big deal. It's a big deal if you're a lineman right there. And then he can kind of accelerate and marry him with his hips and push him through. There's good stuff to be had on that tape. I know it's not enough. It's clearly not enough, especially on the defensive side. Hopefully they take some of this. They look at it. Look, the Packers, they ran the gap in the power schemes really well. In the second half, when they realized guys like Ed Oliver, before he came out of the game, when he was still dominating inside, they started running a lot of, we just call them toss cracks, down arounds, where you're trying to cut the defense on a man scheme and then trying to pull some guys out, getting those big bowling balls, moving down in space and trying to get those DBs to have to move out of the way and make the tackle on a guy like Aaron Jones. So a lot of stuff to build on. Remember, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our podcast, On My Block podcast. This is on Process to Perform on YouTube. If you want to subscribe to that, check us out. I'm on Green 30 at every social media platform, and then Mike Wall 68 on Twitter, Process to Perform on Instagram. Hope you enjoyed, guys. And we'll be back on Thursday with our preview show for the Lions. Thanks a lot.